One of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. She did just say that, right? We just heard her correctly. Now her Department of Justice says no such list exists.
Caroline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration.
A number of prominent Donald Trump allies, including two of his top officials at the FBI, were among the loudest voices whipping up Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy theories in the months leading up to Donald Trump's second term.
Epstein files. I am just tired of the Epstein conversation. We're never getting them, guys, okay? Like, I just feel like this is getting weird, and it's this excitement of, like, obviously people that are implicated in these files are way too powerful, and they're never gonna let it be released. I'm filing JFK files and the Epstein files as files that the American people are never going to be able to see.
It started with a desk, one sentence. It's sitting on my desk right now to review. With those words spoken casually by Attorney General Pam Bondi during a February interview.
Because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed.
The dam broke. For years, America had been waiting for a name, a file, a receipt, something, anything to confirm the long-whispered rumors that Epstein's client list wasn't just real, it was radioactive. And now, here was Bondi, coolly telling the public she had it right in front of her. The implication was clear, the reckoning was coming, but it didn't. Not then, not now. Because by July, the entire narrative had flipped upside down. The Department of Justice released a memo declaring that no such list ever existed, that Epstein died by suicide, that there was no blackmail operation, that all the noise, the suspicion, the fire was just smoke.
Okay, so here's the story. DOJ, FBI have concluded they have no evidence that Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, that he kept a client list, or that he was murdered, according to a memo detailing the findings that was leaked to Axios. So clearly our friends, who we love, Bongino and/or Patel, leaked it to Axios, which is interesting. I mean, why Axios? That's not really a Republican-friendly.
And in that moment, a silence fell. Not because questions had been answered, but because they had been buried alive. The memo was supposed to close the book, but it read more like a cover sheet for a much darker manuscript. Because the contradiction was too stark, Pam Bondi didn't speculate. She confirmed, it's on my desk. Not, we're looking into it. Not, there may be a list. She said she had it. She repeated it. She leaned into it. And the DOJ now says, officially, there was never a list to begin with. So what was she looking at? What did she mean? Where did it go? It didn't help that Bondi's version of events kept shifting. In a March interview, when pushed on
the whole thing that this tape shows he didn't kill himself is like a joke. But worse than that, it's a joke that we all get. Like, they're not fooling anybody. So I feel like we're at a dangerous point now.
Whether New York officials were hiding names, she didn't correct the premise. She didn't say, there is no list. She said it was very interesting that they withheld that from us. The game was still on. The insinuation still hung in the air that somewhere behind layers of sealed files and sanitized statements, names were being protected. Then came the video, secretly recorded, Bondi again. Only this time, no cameras, no script. And her words, more incendiary. Tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn, she said. A statement so explosive, so legally loaded, it sent shockwaves through law enforcement circles.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm that? We still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims, and no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement.
And then just weeks later, the FBI director walked it back. Not of what you want. He told Joe Rogan no videos of crimes being committed, no smoking gun, no hidden footage of world leaders or CEOs caught in the act, nothing.
Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if release the names, right?
And I've said it, Dan Bongino said it, we've reviewed all the information and the American public is going to get as much as we can release. He killed himself. Do you think, let's play out the logical conclusion of this. Do you think that myself, Bongino, and others would participate in hiding information about Epstein's grotesque activities? Or do you think we would also participate in not prosecuting people we had evidence to prosecute people on? Where's the videotape of an Epstein Island of X, Y, and Z committing these frauds? Why haven't you given it to us? Do you really think I wouldn't give that to you if it existed?
No. It's like, I think you would participate in a cover-up if you're the top level of the FBI and subject to a massive blackmail machine at the top of an international intelligence apparatus? Yeah, I do think that.
But people remembered the promise, because Bondi hadn't just floated theories, she ignited them. Her words were fuel. MAGA supporters, Q followers, survivors, skeptics, even moderates desperate for justice. They all rallied around the idea that the Epstein list was real and ready to detonate. And Bondi, she fanned the flames until suddenly the fire went out. Now the DOJ story is simple. There is no list, no proof of blackmail, no clients, no grand trafficking ring with elite names, just a solitary predator. A man who abused girls, stockpiled disturbing images, and died by his own hand in a poorly guarded cell. That's the story, officially. But the timing, the tone, the reversals, they all reek of something else. Because when Bondi said she had the list, she wasn't just making headlines. She was aligning herself with Trump's 2024 campaign promise of transparency. It was supposed to be the rebuke of the deep state, the final takedown of the establishment. We'll release the Epstein files, Trump vowed, and Bondi, his hand-picked attorney general, was positioned as the executor of that vow. But when the time came, the only thing released were redacted PDFs and already public files, like giving someone a treasure map and then handing them a brochure from the gift shop. What followed was chaos. Influencers promised revelations, some were sent files, some claimed to see names, big names. Most found nothing new, others called it a distraction, and all the while, the most basic question remained unanswered. If there was no list, why say there was? And if there was a list, where is it now? By May, the narrative shifted again. Kash Patel, the Trump-appointed FBI director who once hinted at cover-ups, changed course. He killed himself, he said, flat, final, no caveats. Dan Bongino echoed the line. Even Trump, once eager to dangle the mystery, snapped at reporters asking about Epstein. Still talking about this guy, he said, annoyed. This creep? The door was closing. But not for everyone, because the memo didn't kill the questions, it multiplied them. Why did Bondi claim to have videos no one else could confirm? Why did she inflate victim counts one day, then underreport them the next? Why was the final DOJ victim count over 1,000 girls, quietly tucked inside a 2-page summary, while Bondi kept repeating around 250? Why the lies, or worse, why the truth, followed by silence? And then there's the timing. In April, Virginia Giuffre, one of the most vocal survivors and the woman who famously accused Prince Andrew, was found dead by suicide just weeks before the DOJ memo. Her death sent tremors through the movement. Some saw it as the tragic end of a warrior's journey. Others saw something far darker. Without her voice, 1,000 questions were buried. And just like that, the narrative started erasing itself. The frustration boiled over. Elon Musk, once silent, fired off a late-night post. Oh look, it's no one has been arrested o'clock again. Then he dropped the bomb that Trump's name was in the files. The post was deleted. Musk called it too far. But the damage was done. The seed was planted. If Trump's DOJ is hiding something, is it because he's on the list that doesn't exist? The White House insisted everything was done with transparency, that the files were reviewed, that the memo was final, but the public wasn't buying it because the one person who promised a reckoning was the one who walked it back the hardest. Bondi went from claiming a list was in her possession to claiming she meant all the paperwork, from tens of thousands of videos to none, from 250 victims to over 1,000. The inconsistencies weren't just bad politics, they were betrayal. In every corner of this case, something feels wrong. Surveillance footage with time gaps, sealed names in court filings, dead witnesses, fumbled chains of custody, and now the only thing left is a pile of contradictions and a public that remembers every word Bondi said, every promise, every "I'll review it." So now the question isn't whether there was a cover-up, the question is who's still covering for whom. Did Bondi mislead the nation? Did the FBI change the narrative? Did Trump's team play politics with one of the darkest criminal networks in modern history? Or did the truth get lost between ambition, distraction, and fear? One thing's for certain, the story isn't over. The list may be gone, the files may be sealed, the survivors may be silenced, but the questions, they're louder than ever. Because when power protects itself this blatantly, the people don't forget. And if Pam Bondi's desk was empty all along, then what exactly was she looking at?